Hey, what's going on everyone? Greg here with the Galaxy S10e. I wasn't originally planning on purchasing this phone, but I made a video where I talked about the differences between the iPhone XR and the Galaxy S10e and how I thought that Samsung was particularly going against the iPhone XR with the S10e. And make no mistake, that is what they're doing. This is a very similar strategy to what Apple was doing with the iPhone XR. They even priced it the same at $750. Although from a spec standpoint, you are getting a little bit more with the Galaxy S10e than you would an iPhone XR. So I think it's going to be a very interesting look at this device to see how it compares against an iPhone XR. So I kind of wanted to put my money where my mouth is and see if any of the claims I made in my previous video about how the iPhone XR still might win out on some certain aspects compared to the raw specs of the Galaxy S10e. That's why I ultimately decided to pick one up to see what the Galaxy S10e can offer and what kind of phone it is in comparison to, say, something like an iPhone XR, or if someone who would even purchase an iPhone XR should really even consider looking at this thing. Because it does have a lot of advantages when you're looking at the raw spec sheet. It has a higher resolution screen, it has a OLED screen, and it even has a 2-lens camera system on the back, which the iPhone XR only has a single lens camera system. So let's go ahead and open this thing first. Slide this out really nicely. Okay, there we go. We have the Galaxy S10e right in this box. Okay, so I got the Galaxy S10e all up and running. So what are my first impressions of using this device? I've used it for a little bit longer than I have been setting it up off camera, so about an hour of using this thing. And so far, I gotta say, I am impressed about some things, and some things are annoying me a little more than I actually thought they would. So one of the first things out of the gate, the first initial impressions with the S10e is how it feels in the hands. So I think you're getting a pretty good experience of how this feels in the hands. It feels like a premium product. This is a Samsung phone. And again, this is a phone that, although it costs less than the S10 and S10 Plus, this isn't what I would call a budget phone. It's still a pretty pricey phone too at $750, but it does feel like a premium phone. It doesn't feel like you're really missing out much on some of the more expensive phones out there. I went with the Prism Blue color, and it is a okay color. I think I like the more kind of bold colors of the iPhone XR in comparison to the XSE. It has a more mirrored finish than, say, the iPhone XR, but it is showing a lot more fingerprints as well right out of the box. Now, obviously, the next thing you're going to be drawn to is obviously the front of this display, and the screen on this thing looks good so far. I really like the 5.8-inch screen size on it. The fit in the hand is pretty similar to the iPhone XR, although I think it is a little bit smaller in the dimension-wise, more comparable to the iPhone XS with that 5.8-inch display, as they both have 5.8-inch displays. And speaking of displays, you are getting a really nice display with the Galaxy S10e. This is an OLED display, whereas the iPhone XR is an LCD display, and you're also getting a higher resolution on the Galaxy S10e for all the people who really care about pixel peeping and holding it really close to your face. But I'm not going to say that it is so much better than the iPhone XR. And again, I have to do a lot more comparisons before I really compare the LCD display on the iPhone XR from my first hour of using the XSE. But anyway, a good display for this phone so far. Now, one of the things you might have noticed with this display is that camera cutout in the top right corner of the XSE, and this is going to be more of an annoyance for people than I think, because when I first looked at the pictures of this phone online, I thought, okay, the hole punch on this doesn't look too bad. It is taking up a lot less space than, say, the notch on the iPhone XR, but for some reason, I'm noticing it a lot more for my brief period of using this phone. I don't know if that's because it's just a new design and I'm constantly drawn to it because I'm not used to having something in the top right corner, or if this is going to remain an issue where, because of the asymmetry, because it's only in the top right corner, not the top left, or centered in the middle, if I'm going to be noticing this camera cutout for the majority of using this phone. Now, granted, I've only had about an hour of using this phone, but so far I haven't noticed really any major performance hiccups or anything like that. The Galaxy S10e is running the same exact chips that are found in the S10 and S10 Plus, and so far that is just creating a really smooth experience of using this phone. No really slowdowns as you're scrolling through, as you're switching through apps. Again, I'm not running anything intensive, but from my first few moments of using this phone, this seems like a great phone for performance. And like the iPhone XR, it might even have some more performance advantages because it is pushing a lower resolution than the Galaxy S10 and S10 Plus. So the S10e might actually perform better than both of those higher priced flagship phones because it does have less pixels to push. Now I wanted to focus more on an area where I've seen a lot of people complaining on social media, and that is when you're watching video with the Galaxy S10e, especially 2x1 video, which is becoming even more popular on YouTube. So you can really see what I'm talking about when you're watching this video by Jonathan Morrison. He shoots in 2x1, and you can see how the camera cutout is still visible. It's kind of like half cut out in between the video, and a lot of people are saying that's really annoying. If you zoom in on the video even more, you get that full camera cutout circle like you would if you zoomed in on the notch. But some people are saying this is a lot more annoying on the S10e because of that asymmetry like I mentioned before, and it is a lot more noticeable when you're watching video. And I have to agree that I'm finding that I'm noticing this camera cutout a lot more when I'm watching video. But again, I've only been using it for about an hour. This could change as I use it more and as I get more used to it. But aside from that cutout, I gotta say the video quality on the S10e screen is really, really good. They did a great job with the OLED display. Samsung usually has some really great displays. So another difference with the Galaxy S10e compared to the S10 and S10 Plus is that the S10 and S10 Plus have an inbuilt fingerprint reader, where the Galaxy S10e opted to put that on the power button. So with the Galaxy S10 and S10 Plus, I've been hearing a lot of conflicting reports. Some people are saying that the fingerprint scanner is really inconsistent. Some people claim the opposite, saying it works really well and they love it. But I am seeing complaints for a lot of people that the S10 and S10 Plus fingerprint sensors in the display are slower and less accurate than ones that would be embedded outside of the display. So on the S10e, that fingerprint sensor is in the power button. Now I already registered my fingerprints on here, and everything's working really well as you would expect from a normal fingerprint scanner. Not noticing any differences than say like an old Apple phone with a fingerprint scanner, any other Android phones. It's super fast on that power button, so you might even have a slight advantage here with the Galaxy S10e by not having it built into the display, even though that is really cool technology to actually accomplish that. You might be getting a faster fingerprint scanner right here with the XSE. So before I load up and do a little bit of a speaker test, one of the annoyances I'm having with this phone is when I go to adjust the volume, I'm constantly mishitting this Bixby button. Now everyone knows Bixby is kind of useless, even Samsung fans are gonna admit that, but thankfully Samsung does allow you to remap this button to whatever you want. However, my problem is every time I'm going to adjust the volume, I keep clicking on this button. Again, I've only had this phone for about an hour, but this is something that has been annoying me. I keep mishitting the volume button, I keep hitting the Bixby button. Okay, and let's see how the speakers sound on the Galaxy S10e in real time. Let's go ahead and play something. Hey, those are sounding pretty good. Pretty loud so far. Let's skip ahead into the song. Okay, some pretty good sound on that speaker, although I did notice some distortion in the higher volumes, particularly on this track. But again, that is something that most smartphones deal with as you go into those higher volumes, but pretty loud sounding, and so far some pretty good speakers from this first impression. Okay, and before we wrap up this video, I just wanted to do a quick camera test, as good of a camera test as I can do in my current situation. For more testing, I'm gonna have to go outside and actually shoot around with this, but let's go ahead. So one of the cool differences between this phone and the iPhone XR is that this Samsung phone actually comes with two camera lenses. So you have the regular camera, and then you also have a wide angle lens on the back of it. So what am I gonna take a picture of? Let's take a picture of the plant. So the camera looks pretty solid on this plant photo. Again, this isn't a real world kind of going out and testing it in different lighting conditions, but so far in my studio, this thing looks pretty good. And of course, let's try zooming back to get that wide angle effect. And yeah, that zooms out to a way bigger field of view than if you were just using the regular lens. And here you can kind of see the difference between the 1x and then the wide angle. Quite a dramatic difference from both of those lenses. And picture quality so far looks great on both of them. That's no surprise. Mostly any modern flagship smartphone you get nowadays is going to have an excellent camera inside of it. Really looking forward to going outside and actually testing this in the real world rather than taking a picture of this guy all day. And while we're at it, we might as well test the selfie camera real quick too. I really like how that lights up as you switch to the selfie camera. Now let's go ahead and take a photo. Selfie photo looks good so far. There is some lighting here though. It looks a little extra warm to me for some reason. I wonder if we can position that camera right into the eyeball. And look at that. One of the best advantages of using the Galaxy S10e is that you can position that camera cutout right into an eyeball. That is an exclusive feature that can only be accomplished on Samsung phones. Take that, you Apple sheep. All right, everyone, and that is the video. Just a quick unboxing and first impressions of the Galaxy S10e. Obviously, like the title of this video says, I will be switching to the Galaxy S10e for the foreseeable future. I want to get a chance to use this phone, see what I like about it, see what I don't like about it. Obviously, as being primarily an iPhone user, there is some unique perspectives I think I can bring to this phone. So let me know what kind of questions you would like me to cover in another video of using this phone. Be sure to leave those in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to support the channel anyway, make sure you check out the links in the description of this video. If you want to see more content from me, make sure you're subscribed. And as always, I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.